testing. All right, folks. So, hello there, everyone. So, on this stream, what I'm gonna be doing on this stream is I'm gonna be explaining y'all to the history of like all of my scenarios and how I've came to be as a creator. Hello to be announced. So you're about to go on to a little bit of a history lesson on the channel here on Gateway Star. So Liam, Gabe, to be announced. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to webcam. Okay, I'm gonna have to move my cursor and stuff. So let's get started. So we're gonna start off with scenarios and like basically we're gonna start off with EAS scenarios, and this is basically, I'm gonna have to scroll down to my playlist real quick. So we have like 25 of them, but that includes every single part. So this was my first ever EAS scenario. It's like 10 minutes and 45 seconds. And I'll show you some of the EAS. I'll show you like. And this is like a little bit of a joke, and like what you would call a joke scenario. I didn't even use at the time I didn't even have voice text Paul, which is the TTS voice which I used. I used it from a site called Vocalware. So, yes, I know you're on Discord, and this is like not really accurate. Like sometimes on that particular encoder, it doesn't have like.
Laser beam was yeeting random. Source. At 11 a.m. Central Standard.
I really try to emulate the format of.
The Weather Service in Honolulu has issued a warning for all of the United States until Laserbeam uploads a video.
This would not be a National Weather Service issued thing. That is really, really stupid, honestly.
At 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, random objects were spotted and potentially be dangerous when landing. Australia. In the United States, the public reported random objects in the sky and landing on random locations.
I have no.
Other reports claimed that they heard impact. If these random objects land on a person or animal, they could potentially cause injury to that person or animal. A warning means that random.
Yeah, the spacing is completely wrong in this scenario.
It's gotta get a 8 out of 10.
People also
Oh my goodness, that is so stupid. Like a yeet out of 10. And yes, I had this editing style back then, which has never really gone away. It's just evolved.
one person that ended all of this madness.
PewDiePie.
PewDiePie. Yes, you heard me right. PewDiePie.
And you can say, like, there's another one which I call PewDiePie versus T-Series. There's one in between the two of them, but we don't talk about it. We just don't talk about it.
Important. This video contains valid emergency alert system, EAS.
So at this time, I never really took scenario making very seriously.
Such as playing them on the air over television or radio waves could trigger a real nationwide EAS activation. The content creator will not be held responsible for any real EAS activations as a result.
So first of all, there's like so many scenarios that I would have to go through, so I'm not going to be watching the entirety of them. So if, depending on public feedback, I will do a video. I will do actually a stream because I'm not editing all of that. Because first of all, I am not editing all of that. I am just not. I refuse to edit. Because like I will just rather stream the whole thing.
Also, the events in
Why does an
video
Asian
are
male have
purely
blue eyes? Is this anime?
Anyways,
Yeah, Gabe, that is like the bit of an inside joke between the two of us. This is like back then I had the Texan Elevators logo. I used Keynote to do all the graphics and stuff. And this is like Microsoft David. And the scroll is wrong, actually.
subscribe to PewDiePie, and unsubscribe from T-Series. Go to www.youtube.com/user/PewDiePie and click or tab subscribe. This is needed so T-Series does not surpass PewDiePie.
And oh my goodness, how this video aged.
I bought a bunch of billboards. Dude, we got the double billboard. We don't mess around. Went on TV.
Little did we know at this time that Mr. Beast would surpass PewDiePie. That is so poetic, guys. That is like literally so poetic. I feel so proud.
Go on YouTube, search PewDiePie, and subscribe to him.
Did radio ad.
No one kills memes as quickly and efficiently as this Swedish man.
Bought bathroom ads.
There's our ad. Right above the urinal.
And much more to try and stop T-Series from passing PewDiePie.
It just makes
in
me smile
subscribers.
just seeing this.
T-Series is growing 4 times faster than PewDiePie, and if I don't do anything, PewDiePie won't be the #1 most subscribed to YouTuber in the
Mr.
world.
Beast, listen, Jimmy. You later on became the most subscribed YouTuber ever. So, like, basically, it's so poetic. But, like, that was back then. I never really took EAS scenario creating seriously back then. So, I never really took it seriously. I was like... But then later on, Dragons was the one scenario that changed that.
Important. This
Where I really
video
started to take
contains
scenario
Alert
making more
Emergency Alert
seriously.
System, EAS, tunes misuse of
Kings NY.
So I'll show you one segment of it, maybe like a few segments. So those are segments are just recorded, like they all decode to National Periodic Test. So, or they should all decode to National Periodic Test.
The civil authorities have issued a local area
Again,
emergency for New
Vocalware.
York NY, Bronx NY, Kings NY, Queens NY, and Richmond NY, beginning at 4 a.m. and ending at 5 a.m. Large creatures were reported flying
And you
across
see, like
the
I kind of
New York
use the
/
proper
New Jersey
Dave
area.
format.
It is unknown if these creatures are dangerous. However, this can become an extremely dangerous situation. Stay tuned for further
So there's
updates and
certain things that
information.
I've always known, like for a long time, like the Sage format. I've known like the DAS deck format for a long time.
Wind was west.
Okay, I thought that was really cool that I included like the button beeps. Like I'll show you guys right now. Hold on, let me just get like really close to it real quick. Like I switch from radio and
Formation change.
so that was just me switching. I like that detail, first of all.
Wind was west.
You're getting possessed.
The following message is transmitted at the request of the
What can I do? How can I do to help? And even back then, where I even used Red Scroll, right over here, which was like kind of like a really just crappy interpretation of Red Scroll. I even used stuff like the Easy Cap screen. I even featured weather radios, which I stopped doing because it was just too much to animate these. I don't know why I used Tornado Warning CTA on that. And heck, even there's this live action part, which I'll get into if you want to see me do a creator commentary on this scenario. So, how did I get a live action? This is like the first ever, this is like the only time I've ever done a live action scene. So you saw like I kind of started taking scenario making. It's good. Weather in Laredo is good. So this was like the only live action scene. And I'm going to tell you how did I get the weather radios to light up. And I'm going to explain this with a meme quote. And how did I get these weather radios to light up? Hold on. I'm going to show you with a meme quote.
How do I breathe in space?
That's the neat thing. You don't. That's the neat thing. You don't.
So, yeah, if you don't get the point. So, first of all, so that's kind of why when it hit black, made it hit black when I actually did that. So I was actually recording that at 11 p.m. I was recording that at 11 p.m. while there was, and what was actually scrolling was not a civil danger warning or a civil emergency message as seen here, but it was actually a severe thunderstorm warning, which explains why I actually just cut it out right there. It just went black. I'm sorry, if I'm glitching out a little. Hold on, if I angle the camera a little bit better like this. I'm using Intel Virtual Cam because first of all, I'm in a dark room, Hello, South Carolina. I mean, South Central Missouri, WX. Hi there. I'm sorry I missaid your name. So then later on, I decided to make another scenario, which initially started off as a request.
This is an important message. This video contains
So you saw me actually use, this was like more of the era of like, more taking it more seriously. And you can see, like, once again, visuals. Like, there's a DAS deck. There's a DAS deck. And, like, right over here, you can see a visual of an EAS encoder of a Sage Digital N deck. I really like the design, what I did over here. Sage Digital N deck. And then it cuts out. So that's basically what I did. And anyway, okay, wrong video, misclick. And then something similar was actually
important message.
Yes, I did Dallas. I didn't know it was your area at the time. Do you blame me? I didn't know at the time. I didn't know at the time, so do you blame me? Don't blame me. I didn't know at the time. So this is like the longest tornado emergency in the history of tornado emergencies.
Lincoln County
So
in central Oklahoma, Blaine County in northwestern Oklahoma, Grant County in southwestern Oklahoma.
Why are you happy that I did your area?
Oklahoma
Okay, I guess it's just like a nice
Central
reference or something.
County
I get it, because believe it or not, Terminator Dark Fate featured my hometown, which I thought was really cool. That Terminator Dark Fate featured my hometown, so that was pretty cool. It's a terrible move. I've heard it was terrible, but it's cool that it at least featured my hometown. So I get you. I get you on that.
Alfalfa County in northwestern Oklahoma.
No, this is actually for the whole United States, and I just used, this is like the first time I've ever used Cave AWIPs. So that was the pre-freezing one era of scenarios, and now we're getting into the freezing one era. So the freezing one era is like really interesting. So we featured, like, I'm gonna tell you ahead of time, Serena Evelyn. It's like the character by the name of Serena Evelyn. And so I'm gonna show you, like, you know what? I'm gonna show you the fictional Amber Alert. This one is like,
This is NOAA Weather Radio.
I'll show you the fictional Amber Alert.
K67 in
And
San Antonio.
I really like the attention to detail. Like, this is where I kind of started really taking it seriously in the freezing one. That's where I really seen the point where I started really taking scenario making seriously. And this was actually like, it sounds like everything I tried to make it as it would be heard on TV, or radio, or even on NOAA radio. On NOAA radio. So you hear, like, from the NOAA station.
National Weather Service Forecast Office. The current time is 3:25 p.m.
So I'll show you this Amber Alert accurate script. So this image, like, all of them, like, in the scenario were actually just stock images, except for this image right here, which was actually an image taken by me. You know what? We'll get into the Amber Alert, like, a little bit later. Let's do the blizzard warning. And this image, which is basically over here taken on I-35 in Laredo, Texas.
50%.
So hold on. I put the. You can see. Let's just admire the.
26. The voice of the National Weather Service, broadcasting on a
Because,
frequency of
and once again, I don't know if I need to tell you this, but at the time,
2.550 megahertz.
you're gonna be like, WXK, and no one is gonna be complaining about this. WXK 26 is at 475, not 550. Well, it used to be on 550 for some reason. I have no idea why, but it just was. I should have asked them. What's next? It's on 400.
13 in Laredo. NOAA Weather Radio is on the air 24 hours a day, broadcast
So
11 a.m. and noon. At Laredo, snow flurries were reported. Temperature 20 degrees, dew point 4, and the relative humidity 50%. Wind west at 55 miles an hour.
What, it's high pitched for your ears?
What? Blizzard conditions occurring. Travel will be very dangerous to impossible. Total snow accumulations of 7 to 13 inches are expected. Where? Portions of South Texas. When? From now until further notice.
I don't know why I put further notice. I guess it just didn't know how long blizzard warnings could be purged for.
Additional details. The blizzard is associated with a dangerous individual last seen in Austin, Texas.
And I'll get into like
Winds
certain
gusting up to
specifics about the
70
story.
miles per hour will cause whiteout conditions in blowing snow. The combination of damaging winds and cold temperatures will cause power outages and make travel extremely hazardous. Considerable tree damage is possible.
I don't know if I did that no pause purposely.
Damage to mobile homes is expected. Roof, siding, and outbuilding damage is likely.
And I just kind of phrased it from a severe thunderstorm.
Significant drifting
It's
of
very
snow
similar
is
to severe
likely.
thunderstorm warning.
A blizzard warning means severe winter weather conditions are expected or occurring. Falling and blowing snow with strong winds and poor visibilities are likely.
So let me just explain the criteria. High wind warning is just damaging winds alone. If there's like a squall, I believe like if there's like a blizzard, a winter storm or something, or a severe thunderstorm, or anything, that would be issued instead. So high wind warning is just if it's just 58 miles per hour wind gust or sustained winds of 40 miles per hour longer than 1 hour. It's for an extended period, for an hour and longer.
This will lead to whiteout conditions, making travel extremely dangerous.
Or a
Do
dust
not
storm. Yes, a
travel.
dust storm. Yeah.
If you must travel, have a winter survival kit with you. If you get stranded, stay with your vehicle.
Thank you for reminding me, Gabe. I consider it plausible that Corpus would tone a blizzard warning, to be honest. Like, they do tone winter storm watches, and they also tone high wind warnings, which they said they didn't, which I probably was just a miscommunication between me and Corpus. So that is like the first part. I'm going to show you some of my favorite segments. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use this clip. So, The Weathering 2 was just kind of like my first time collaborating with other people. Like, I collaborated. This was supposed to be a collaboration between South Cal Man. I'm not sure if he's still around. It was supposed to be now he's called 619 Nomo. What has he been uploading lately? Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me! You put Joe Biden on there! I don't want it, like... Guys, cancel me if I say this, but... Joe Biden needs to retire. That's it. Like, I'm not gonna talk any further. I don't care what Mark Hamill says. Joe Biden needs to retire. Yeah. So, I'm going to go over this one real quick and just go over one alert per scenario. So the Weathering 2, let's just show you the preview. The preview alert. Let's go over this whole entire one. So this was canceled due to like difficulty, like trying to manage it. And I just felt like just difficulty. I didn't know if it was going anywhere. So I decided to cancel it.
The following message is transmitted at the request of the South Dakota Emergency Management Agency, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. At 4:28 p.m., two figures hooded in black.
And it was Luke who actually did the blur. He's now known as Luke. He used to be known as Dixo EAS.
5'2" tall, with glowing gray eyes. The second individual was 5'0" tall, with glowing green eyes. These individuals are believed to be Serena Evelyn and Harvey Adams.
Both characters, as you may know, if the names sound familiar, for anyone who knew here is more familiar with my recent stuff within the Pursuit verse, which I'm going to get into later.
Who have previously impacted numerous locations. Although these individuals do not appear to be a threat, get indoors immediately. This can quickly become a dangerous situation with significant impacts.
So, oh, you agree. So once again, this was like back in the day. So now we're gonna get into Harvey Adams, and this is like the first scenario of mine that featured voice acting.
Hey, shooter! Holy crap, is that my voice?
Okay, I got it ready. So I know what you guys are thinking. This is the first EAS scenario that ever the first story, in fact, that ever featured voice acting. And I know what you guys are thinking.
Voice acting? No! He's gone too far this time!
Voice acting? No! He's gone too far this time! Every time I think of the first time I've ever used voice acting, I was like... So, as you may know, my inspirations for the freezing one were like scenarios... was primarily from Radioactive Girl 00. You're gonna bawl your eyes out. What did you just hear? Yeah, that was just... I do apologize. I'm very sorry about that. So, anyways. So, I'm going to show you a little bit of a segment real quick. Which one do I want to show?
This is an important message.
Issued a tornado warning for Kendall County, DuPage County.
And
identify yourself. Why should I?
It's one of the very few times where I use CRS.
The name is Harvey. Harvey Adams.
And that was to be announced, voicing Harvey Adams.
And you do not want to mess with me.
And I will say this, TBA, I know you've tuned into this stream. If you're watching right now, you have seriously improved.
Take him into custody. Identify a Harvey Adams.
Got it.
And you know what? Let's show this. Let's show the civil emergency message, because why not? I like to only show one alert per scenario because, first of all, including multi-part ones like the Freezing One trilogy,
The following message is transmitted at the request of the New York
which one? The female one?
Management. At 11:01 p.m., the New York City Police Department has reported the dangerous individual in New York City.
That's Tom. That's called Tom. And I never wanted to introduce you guys to Tom because he's overrated.
The NYPD has also reported a dust storm over New York City. A dust storm warning is in effect. Residents should move indoors immediately.
Oh, that's Tom. That's Tom. That's Tom. The male, that's Tom. The female is called Donna, and the male voice that sounds like this, it sounds kind of like an old Indian dude.
Tornado emergency for the city of Rockford. The National Weather Service in Chicago.
This voice is called Igor. I'd like to call him, I know some people call him Old Paul, but then I like to call him Igor to avoid confusion with this guy, who is Voice Text Paul. I am Paul.
Hello, I am Paul.
So that is, I want to avoid confusion with this guy. Yes, I said that's overrated. You heard me. Did I stutter? But one of my favorite CRS voices has to be Donna. Corpus used her on their transmitters for a majority of the time. And Donna sounds like this. She's one of my favorite voices.
Local area emergency. The following message is transmitted at the request of the Cook County.
I don't know why I phrased it local area emergency right there. I don't know why I said local area emergency, like, because... And next up is, like, more voice acting. And once again...
My voice? Voice acting? No!
I'm sorry, guys. I just like that line way too much. Oh, excuse my search history. Like, excuse that. Like, I forgot to clear that. I always forget to clear that, and, like, usually you gotta figure out what the hell is Gateway watching. Tom is overrated. No.
This is an important message.
And that's Kepstro William. You know what? I know which one I want to show, actually.
System, or EAS.
because it highlights the best
These
performance.
tones can cause nationwide activation
So spoilers.
of the emergency alert system. The content creator or content
So
Avoid windows.
So this once again, and like once again, we're gonna be featuring. You're gonna see some similar names if you kept up with me, like in more recent times. Like if you kept up with me for the last few months, you would recognize these character names, and I've obviously reused them. And I've changed all the voice actors too for the characters for these characters. And I put Remember the Alamo because I thought it would be fine. Ever since Dragons, I thought it would using invisible text like this, and the whole philosophy of why I make it gray is to put less contrast. It's to put more focus on this text rather than this. And police cruisers use, some of them do, which are called ghosted vehicles or stealth cars. They're called ghosted vehicles. Police. They're ghosted police units. Cruisers. Like this one. I'll give you an example. New York State Police has a ghosted unit, and this is basically what they do, and I kind of took that philosophy and put it into graphic design, which was a terrible idea. You know what? I'm going to show you saying I'm a psycho, because I kind of am a bit of a psycho. So, this is... I'm going to showcase this one. So this one is based off of a relay from WXK67 as it serves Atascosa, Bandera, Bexar, Comal, Guadalupe, Kendall, and Medina and Wilson counties. So once again, Atascosa, Bandera, Bexar, Comal, Guadalupe, Kendall, Medina, and Wilson counties. I know it's Guadalupe. I personally like to call it the Guad. The Guad. I don't know why I call it the Guad. And you're wondering, Ohioans, if you're watching, anyone from Ohio here? Do we have anyone from Ohio in the chat? You did not ask 10 questions. You asked more like 2. Is what normal? No. I'm gonna put no. It's like no. I'm gonna put a no. So you asked 2 questions on Discord. Okay. So this is on San Antonio, Texas. And I will tell you, the voice actress who voiced Serena did an amazing job. And even one point I even asked, I'll get into this on stream.
At the request of the Texas Department of Public Safety. This is a special announcement and activation of the Texas Emergency Alert System. The 5 extremely dangerous individuals were reported in the state of Texas, first reported at 9:27 p.m. in the Rio Grande Valley. The individuals are described as the following. Harvey Allen Adams, white male, date of birth January 1st, 1997, 5 feet 7 inches, 100 pounds, brown hair, gray eyes.
Oh my goodness, there's...
Right
what the... What in the world is wrong with making the characters extremely underweight?
Date of birth March 31st, 2006, 5 feet, 97 pounds, long and straight brown hair, green eyes, with a tattoo of a snowflake on her right wrist. William Sylvester West, white male, born June 1st, 2004, 5 foot 9 inches, 121
Yeah, it does look like syrup juice.
curly brown hair, amber eyes, yellow and glowing, with a tattoo of fire on his right wrist.
Probably out of all these characters, that is the most like me is William. Because he has the curly hair. Like I do have curly hair too.
Height 5 feet 2 inches,
I have curly hair too.
95 pounds, long and wavy blonde hair, blue eyes, with a tattoo of a leaf on her right wrist. Seth Victor Avery, white male, born April 20th, 2005, height 5 feet 8 inches, 119 pounds, long and wavy blonde hair, blue eyes, with a tattoo of a leaf.
So like this is like a little bit of a history.
These dangerous individuals are capable of manipulating the weather conditions, causing severe weather to occur. Do not approach, as these individuals can pose a real threat to safety.
You're wondering why I made it say real like that? It was just like a little joke. Sometimes I like to include a little bit of a joke. It's for a similar reason. There's a county in Texas which is called Real, which is called Real, which is
Real.
It would say like
Real.
And that was like a little bit of a joke that I do this. I might explain this again when I do my Freezing One marathon, which is gonna have to start up very early in the morning, and then I'm gonna marathon through it. So should I do a marathon of the Freezing One? Of the entirety of the Freezing One trilogy. Should I do a marathon of the... Yes, do it. No, you're insane. Are you crazy? Should I do an entire marathon of the entirety of the Freezing One? The whole trilogy, including and as Freezing, the whole trilogy as well as other parts. Yes. No. So, here we go. Yes and no. So the whole Freezing... And I'm gonna tell you this before the scene begins, I think. End of message. So, here's a little bit of an interruption scene in the...
Roses are red, violets are blue. We have a surprise just for you. Let's play a game, Texas. There is one rule to this game. Never celebrate winter without me. Oh wait, you can't.
And like, there was like one point where I was editing this scene. And I was like thinking to myself, like, I was like setting up for like the Texas Monthlies, and I looked over this scene again. I was like, holy crap, I actually casted someone good for this role. I was like, holy cast. Holy crap. I was like, holy crap. Holy crap. Holy crap. I was like, holy crap. It's like, holy crap. I was like, holy crap, I actually casted someone good. So, I was like, holy crap, I actually casted someone good. So, next up is, let's do Freezing One Part 1. And let's do... So like what I did was like I used the 3 dots, like that's just for me to indicate, hey, this is a cutscene going on, because there's like these little cutscenes. Nagatoro, when she takes over the world, no kidding. Except Nagatoro is a Dorodere, and Serena in this scenario would be more like a Yangire. If you have no idea what a Yangire means, it means like total psycho. There's like not even love bounds them. Yandere is bound by love, but Yangire's on the other hand, nothing bounds them. They're just from their insanity. So Howard Adams, like this is like
Even if it is your brother, what chances do we have?
If you may have noticed the recording quality, that's because I was like freaking recording in a closet.
Agent Adams, we have just located the individual here in Boston.
Good work.
And this is like where where I made an entire freaking soundtrack for an EAS scenario.
This is the FBI.
I don't know why I put the FBI. Am I ever gonna remake this scenario? No. I kind of already did. I give the characters... The characters have new lives.
Why should I be scared? Guns don't scare me at all.
Serena Evelyn, it seems that you have returned for the 3rd time.
What have you done with my brother, Harvey Adams?
You mean the traitor, Harvey Adams? Let's just say, I got rid of that motherfucker before he could ruin my plans.
You will pay!
Oh, no.
And later on I decided to stop, to do away with scrolling text. Like you may have noticed in the Freezing One, I decided to do away with scrolling text, and I'll just explain it. So in the 4 seasons, there was scrolling text.
That is
include Lyons, Cutlerville, Clark.
The scrolling text right there. and I decided to do away with it in favor of this. So in between the creation of this, I forgot to go over this because I was so focused. I made a scenario called Big Chungus. I made an entire EAS. This one is kind of the outlier from the Freezing One era. It's like the is like the black sheet of the whole era.
45 p.m. Big Chungus is described as a large, 10 feet tall, male, rabbit with gray and white hairs and black eyes. He was also wearing white gloves. Extensive damage to
And I thought this would be a little fun to do. I thought this would just be fun to do. It's just a tiny little scenario, and I made it called Big Chungus, the EAS scenario. And it did pretty good. So, next up, after the manipulated nature, I just kind of decided to go with, I didn't really know what to do in 2022. What the? How did I get into another channel's membership like that? Like, how did that happen? I'm serious, guys.
This is a statement from the National Weather Service. The National Weather Service has issued a heat warning for all of the United States until Laser Beam uploads a video.
So you can see this is kind of in like the same. This is kind of in the same spirit as the.
Eastern Standard Time, or 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, or 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, or 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, or 8 a.m. Alaska Standard Time, or 7 a.m. Hawaii Aleutian Standard Time, or just literally right now. Being yeeted from the sky across.
This is like the Purple Angel was gonna be like the aftermath of the whole Freezing Ones thing.
From the Austin San Antonio National Weather Service.
You can see like the font is a little different.
And is nearly stationary. Storm spotters reported a tornado with a bright purple glow making several brief touchdowns, causing property damage.
And next up, so that was like a bit of an outlier. I really have to use the bathroom. I would certainly like to stay here, so please wait for me. Please be patient, guys. It will only last less than 5 minutes. I'll be back in like 2 minutes. Alright folks, I have returned. So after this point, I didn't really know what to do for Yeet Warning and this one. This was 2022, where I could hardly ever consider these scenarios, because this is like kind of where I was struggling with EAS scenarios and stuff. Like kind of struggling to make EAS scenarios. But then, so as you may know, I'm going to give you a little bit of a brief introduction to another one of my series. Oh, look right over here. We were just talking about it. Speak of the devil. But I would prefer to be speaking of Jesus because it's Sunday. Okay, let's see what you guys do. Oh, there's just like so you all unanimously agree. I don't know when to do the marathon. I'll probably like do it at noon, and then like I stop at like at 6 p.m. I'll do a marathon of it. Oh my goodness. What are you guys thinking? So, I'm going to be switching playlists real quick. So, I'm going to be switching playlists, guys. So how this series came to be. How did it come to be? So first of all, I started doing another series, which was called the Yandere, an ASMR reaction series. So let me explain how I started this series. I was just kind of making fun of the DGen content, like making fun of it, but then I literally started to enjoy it. So you can safely say, in meme quotes, So you can say in meme quotes.
Now you have become the very thing you swore to destroy.
Yeah, I really have become the very thing I swore to destroy. So I started the series. It was back then where I only had like 3 episodes. Now I have like 21. Guys, what is 9 plus 20? It's like...
Stupid.
No, not.
What's 9 plus 10?
21.
You stupid.
How is 9 plus 10 21? How is 9 plus 10 21 is my question. So, this is how the series started. It was the day after I uploaded this one. I recorded this on the 21st, uploaded it on the 22nd. Oh, I later on reacted to this one for Mary Vitterus. So I came up with this series. And this is like marks the debut of the Pico voice. Which I'm going to show you you know what? Like there's like an amber alert and then there's a blue alert and then there's spoiler alert. I'm going to spoil this whole scenario. So there's later on this. Thank God. You're smart, Gabe. You're smart. Congratulations. Give yourself a hat. Give yourself a head pat. Give yourself a shoulder pat. Give yourself a back pat. And then give yourself a mat pat. Hello, Evernet. Welcome to game theory, film theory, food theory, style theory. Clip that if you want. Clip that.
An active shooting is imminent in Dolphin Mall in Miami.
So Microsoft Zira is typically not used on EAS, unlike her counterpart Microsoft David.
The suspect has been identified as Violet White. This individual is extremely dangerous and mentally unstable,
called it.
And should not be approached. The individual is wanted by the Florida Department of Law Enforcement for the kidnapping of 17-year-old George Truman in Jacksonville, and the murder of 2 Florida state troopers in Orlando. This has prompted a blue alert and an amber alert. Law enforcement is currently responding to the situation at this time. Avoid the Dolphin Mall area. Those near the area should shelter in place until further notice. The City of Miami and Miami-Dade County officials will provide further updates on this situation.
21? Are you fucking kidding me right now? So, now we're gonna go over everything else, like Yandere Pursuit. So, how I started this whole story, it's like an audio drama. This was like my first ever actual audio drama.
Faster.
Damn, must have set you back a... So,
you seem distant the last time.
Which scene should I do?
It's just a lot's been on my mind.
Yeah, let's do the first scene.
How fun.
So like you can tell like from all the sound design details and stuff that my work on EAS scenarios has really paid off, and this was like very sound design intensive.
Hello?
George?
And I think the voice actors did an amazing job, a tremendous job on this.
Been tossing and turning all night. What's up?
Just wanted to hear your voice. You seemed distant the last time we spoke.
And then Violet's voice actors who later on went to play Lilith.
Joyrides.
Expected. What's up?
I missed hanging out with you, and I heard your folks are gone for the weekend.
I'm just doing the...
So like I later on decided to take on audio dramas. And this is next up is A Lobo Negro. And this one marks the return of a certain character. Gabe, because I know you're the only one that is contributing to the chat, do you know what that character is? Hint. It's from a certain Freezing One scenario. Please get it right, Gabe. Please, I'm counting on you, Gabe. I'm gonna sit back and just wait for you to respond. Or Gabe, you can just DM me the answer. Either that, you can just DM me the answer, or you can just actually say it in the chat. I don't really care. So I'm like going through the history, and this is like where I started really taking like storytelling seriously, because I never really took it seriously in the freezing one. I thought, oh, cool alert, spectacle. And this is like where it really, this is what I call like Yandere Pursuit, and all this is what I call the Pursuit First era. Okay. I'm gonna continue my commentary. So this marks the return of Serena Evelyn. That's right, the girl from the freezing one with those ice powers comes back. I had to recast her, and Mitsuki took over, who was previously credited as Pink Sora. Ended up voicing her for this. So, hold on, what's the spot I should do? Let's do here. Let's start here. No, I'm gonna hide that. Gabe, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to hide that message.
The city of Laredo is sending this emergency message on the behalf of the United States Customs and Border
And it really
Protection
shows that
Laredo
I've like
sector.
actually decided to change the story.
The Lincoln Juarez Internet.
And this particular story hits very close to home
National bridges
because I live at the
collapsed
border,
due
and I
to
wanted
an
to do something with a story involving the
explosion that
U.S.-Mexico
occurred on
border.
the
So
bridge.
why not involve Serena in it?
To
Why
ensure
not bring
public
back a
safety,
character
the United States
for a
Department
new audience
of Homeland Security, in conjunction
and like
with the
repurpose
Mexican
my
National
old characters?
Customs Agency, is implementing the immediate closure of all international bridges to Mexico. This closure will remain in effect until further notice.
La ciudad de Laredo está enviando este mensaje de emergencia en nombre del sector de
And
aduanas y
I had a
protección
connection that helped me do the translations for the Spanish part.
fronteriza de
Once
Laredo
again,
de los Estados Unidos.
who is a
El
native.
puente
All I can tell you about this
internacional
person is that
Lincoln Juárez colapsó
this
debido a
person
una
is a native
explosión
speaker.
ocurrida en el mismo.
A native speaker.
Para garantizar la seguridad pública, el
That's
Departamento
all I
de
can tell you.
Seguridad Nacional de los Estados Unidos, en conjunto con la Agencia Nacional de Aduanas de México, han implementado el cierre inmediato de todos los puentes internacionales hacia México. Este cierre permanecerá vigente hasta nuevo aviso.
And ready for this, guys? So this marks the return of Serena Evelyn.
Who sent you?
And she makes a huge comeback. She makes like a huge comeback. And I think Mitsuki did an amazing
Serena?
job.
It's too dangerous.
Kind of hinting at those sadistic tendencies that Serena had, those sadistic side of herself, that she can be sadistic. She is a little sadistic, but not as sadistic as she was in the freezing one. She is just a little bit sadistic. Just a tiny little bit sadistic.
It's out here.
I just want to
Just a tiny little bit sadistic.
Only made your job a little easier.
She takes pleasure in killing
To the suburban.
to the suburban.
You just
If you have no idea what a suburban is, it's this sucker. Because I was like showing Chara like what the heck is a suburban, and look at this mother sucker. It's huge! It's like half a bus! It's like extremely long. I've been inside one actually. Or a few of them actually. And boy oh boy, they are spacious!
Harris got here.
Is Regina still inside?
Okay, Regina, the dog, although like it was mispronounced as Regina, it's Fire Unfolds.
Remember, it's your responsibility to take care of her.
Reggie has been staying out of trouble. She hasn't gotten out of the car. I've been teaching her a few new tricks. You know, Malinois learn fast.
Do you realize that Regina is not a pet? She's government property.
Do you also remember that she's my emotional support dog, too? Just be careful. Would have been fun to let her out and bite the hell out of him. But I killed him accidentally.
Accidentally? And that's like the one rare instances where I voice a main character. Next up is Tsundere Pursuit, where I'm gonna show you like a little bit of the expression. Like, what's the best scene to use?
This dangerous.
Okay, we'll use this scene.
Thank God we got out of that. It was all thanks to your quick thinking, Henry.
Ruby, I thought you hated me.
Hated you? I never hated you. It's quite the opposite, actually.
You love me?
Of course I do, Henry. I love you.
I can't believe this, honestly. I've tried to but you would always push me away.
That's because I was afraid of what you would do. That you would reject me.
Listen, I would never reject you. Maybe you might have messed with my head a little, but I would never reject you.
It's fun to mess with you. I see that you two lovebirds are getting along very well. You can call me Cupid. Come on, we all brought our laptops with us.
So there's only like 2 voice actors in this one, like primarily only 2. And then there's Dorian who makes a cameo, and then there's me voicing a character which I call State Trooper Steve. State Trooper Steve. The Sanctuary, let's just show the cameo appearance because why not? Which I'm gonna tell you guys, I'm gonna reiterate this. I am so shocked because like Serena from the Freezing one was like so inspired by Radioactive Queen. Like it took a lot of inspiration from it. And then like I took a lot of inspiration from it from making the Freezing one, and then just hearing Radio say the name of the character that I've based off of her own character. That is just very surreal to me. It's like reality. It's like it's cool. It's pretty cool. Like guys, I know I've just not really shown that. Like I've just shown like I've been very chill about it, but that's like part of the thing. Radio, I've like from speaking with her, she's actually pretty chill. Actually, it's just from like the radioactive, yo dudes, the radioactive kingdom is pretty chill. Maybe you should like, yo dudes. That's like radio is actually pretty chill. That's I feel like this one moment. It feels like this one moment.
Yo, dudes, the Empire's pretty chill. Maybe you could, like, join it or something.
Oh my goodness. Yo, dudes, the Empire's pretty chill. Oh my goodness.
The following message is transmitted as
and this time I should like I didn't say this when I was making the Lobo Negro, but I started making the NOAA effects, the weather radio effects, doing them manually. Back during the Freezing one, I would actually just use macros, like most people do. This time I just do them all by hand. So if there's like a mistake, I do apologize, but I do them all by hand. I edit them all by hand.
County Emergency Management Agency.
And they sound really accurate. They sound pretty good,
actually. In locating prison escapee Violet White.
Wait, not this one.
She is an 18-year-old white female with brown hair and purple eyes.
You know what? Skip over here.
We have 2 confirmed
There's Mario.
deaths of
There's
2
Cam right
prisoners
there.
during the Youngsville riots. Diana Martinez has more on the story. Take it away, Diana.
And that's Radio right here.
Thanks, Mario. The drug kingpin El Gordo, otherwise known as Elvis Silva, was murdered. He was attacked, then later killed, in the prison escape craze. The culprit for this murder was an 18-year-old girl named Violet White. The girl was later shot by authorities during a heated confrontation. Joining us live in the studio, we have 18-year-old Serena
So
Evelyn,
basically, it's kind of like having a celebrity cameo.
who helped authorities to take down El Gordo.
Good, you're just chilling.
So Serena, what was your reaction to El Gordo's death?
Well, it's shocking. I can't say I didn't
However,
see
it's
it
new
coming.
Serena. It's like
What was it like
the
when
new
you were
VA.
kidnapped by El Gordo?
It was a very traumatic experience. You know, I play it off and act tough, but I think that's just how I cope with things, you know?
I get it, Serena.
Wait, Serena is on TV?
And there's like, and so once again, I reused, that's Harvey Adams' new VA, and I also, this is where I kind of repurposed Harvey Adams and Howard Adams as well.
He's been on TV ever since that drug lord was arrested.
Well, I haven't been keeping up on the whole
And look,
cartel
if you
thing that's been going on.
So I use like a TV, the same TV that I actually have that I'm using as a monitor.
Which appears to be organized from prison escapees from the Ohio Supermax, members of the now collapsed El Lobo Negro cartel, among others. The sanctuary leader is believed to be the prison escapee Joseph Snyder.
Joseph Snyder?
Oh, I suppose that he might have.
Howard? Vanessa?
The hacker guy is like, that's...
Take a look at this.
Like, I could just assume that Harvey was just using the dark web, like the Tor
I've just
browser.
uncovered information about the sanctuary. It appears.
So, like, first of all, like the Tor browser, for instance. which the Tor browser, it's basically you can just basically browse the dark web with it. Trust me. You can do the same thing with Brave when you press Alt-Shift-N, which I'm gonna do Alt-Shift-N. So this is like the Tor network. So props on Brave for bringing Tor to Chromium browsers, to Chromium. They're the one company that actually brought Tor to Chromium, which is pretty cool.
Here's that they're aligning with a Yakuza from Japan.
And I put a flex.
Same one that targeted Tanaka usually.
I just received word that the Tanakas are in Ohio.
How did you know?
Kate texted me. And she said that she was in Youngstown 2 days ago to help Serena talk to Violet White.
We should tell the Tanakas that they're in grave danger.
So like there's this one point in the timeline right over here. So there's like a pretty organized timeline. So the Sanctuary is kind of like the finale, and Night of Midnight and Clarence Banner are more like an epilogue.
Viewer discretion advised.
And in the epilogue, I'm gonna showcase the scene.
Hey, Father Son.
Hello, my...
I'll watch.
No human being is beyond saving.
I thought it was pretty cool. Like I featured a Catholic
till
priest.
They are judged by our Lord.
Thanks, Father.
It was like funny. Like one time, I actually had a conversation with an actual priest, and it was like, and I told him I featured a Catholic priest in the story. It's like, is he a good guy or a bad guy? That was pretty cool.
Alex, my man.
And there's the new William, who is voiced by Next Gen EAS.
William, how did it go with the job shadow?
Once I get my degree,
What's
I can become
funny
a
is I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this, but I'll ask Next Generation EAS if I'm allowed to say it.
full-blown meteorologist.
I'll watch your career with great interest.
If you know where I took that line from, yeah, I've been quoting that. Like, this is like, I'll watch your... If you know where I've watched that line, I was like, will watch your career with great interest. It's a Star Wars quote. Same thing with Yandere Pursuit.
And you, young Skywalker, we will watch your career with great interest.
I like the way he says that. And so he did. And so he did. Same thing with, like, Yandere Pursuit, which I'm gonna go back a little.
Besides, what?
Know what's happened. Highway's coming up.
This is where the fun begins.
And can you guess what Star Wars quote that was? This time it's from... So I think they're a lot more subtle and a lot more like... They don't take me out of the story because they felt kind of forced when I did it in the freezing one, but... Come on, where's the actual quote? Here it is.
This is where the fun begins.
There it is. So she literally just quoted Anakin Skywalker from... This is from Revenge of the Sith. So Clarence Banner, I'll show you a little bit of a... I'll show you the beginning of this one. And this was like the debut of Blue vs. W.
Land Rover. How did it get all the way here?
I have no idea. All I've heard from Henry is that they got pulled over. Someone must have brought it here.
I knew you wanted to compete with Violet, but this?
I just found it.
What are you kids doing here?
Nothing?
Do you realize how much people are willing to pay for such a car?
I happen to know the original owner.
Get lost.
Run.
And that's like the whole... And that was the reintroduction of Seth and Amelie Avery. So basically what I did was I repurposed the characters. They were repurposed, reimagined, and repurposed, which I thought was cool. And I kind of want to see like... So I have a few questions. So I'm going to go into like podcast over here. I have it as my audio dramas are basically listed as podcasts.
Warning. This video contains just a few things before we begin.
And this was like the debut, and this is the first time I've ever worked with Buttercup Chara. She did like a phenomenal job, and like she was like, initially I was looking for a soprano, but then like to do the voice, but then like I got an alto, which was kind of funny. A soprano, but I got an alto to do the voice.
The island of
I'll lose you.
The
What
EAS
choice do
is
I
done
have?
very similarly, so there's not really much I can say about it.
Need anyone else?
But this is where I started experimenting with binaural sound. So I'm not gonna really go over like the EAS anymore. Like I've stopped because like it kind of like stagnated. Besides like doing manual effects and there's not much to change actually.
Commander. Commander Lucas, Captain Ventura. We are approaching not a vessel.
And writing these scenes, like I'm gonna show you, like you know what? Let's show you the extreme wind warning.
Prepare to launch a rescue. Too much about it. We'll hand. Too much about it.
So we'll do it right here. I'd later, like this text, I later did away with the following scenario. Like I later did away with this text on the screen. I later like did away with this. So I just take you straight to the EAS. So this one is actually done.
Extreme wind warning for the island of Oahu until 2:45 p.m. At 11:38 a.m.
So like Aurora
National
just
Weather
basically
Service
causes
Dothan
100
radar
miles,
and maritime
like no.
observations indicated
Very,
extreme
very
winds
powerful winds.
associated with an intense low pressure area drifting slowly southwestward towards Oahu Island. This low pressure system will slowly move through Oahu Island, and widespread tornado-like damage is possible in the island. Those caught without shelter will be seriously injured or killed. Vehicles may be especially susceptible to these extreme winds and may be overturned. Some structures may sustain extensive wind damage, and others may be destroyed. Flying debris, including vehicles, trees, and power lines, may be blown to the ocean. This is an extremely dangerous and life-threatening situation. Widespread destructive winds of 125 to 160 miles per hour will spread across the island of Oahu in Honolulu County,
Producing swaths of tornado-like damage.
Take cover now. Treat these imminent extreme winds as if a tornado was approaching and move immediately to the safe room in your shelter. Take action now to protect your life. The safest place to be during extreme winds is in a reinforced interior room away from windows. Get under a table or other piece of sturdy furniture. Use mattresses, blankets, or pillows to cover your head and body.
And this is like very different than the glitching effect. I wanted to show you this scene because first of all, like I wanted y'all to see the progression, like how I later on did this. Before we get into like the glitchy part, I'm just gonna explain. This is how how long have I been streaming? I've been streaming for like an hour. So this is how I just remembered when I was writing this scene. I remembered how much fun it was to write the freezing one. Dude, it was like fun writing the freezing one, and I remembered how much fun it was to write it. It was a fun one.
Isn't the breeze just wonderful? That's what you got for taking my love away from me. You are watching this. You will never take it from me. If you even try, let's just say you will be blown away.
So that's basically what it is. So that was kind of like where I first started. Like she just voice acted. It's like this next one, Chara actually does have some writing credits in this one. Like she actually written this. Of course, all the dialogue parts. I've written most of the EAS stuff, like pretty much everything except for like a certain portion, like with a local area emergency. What is that supposed to mean? That is like the funniest clip.
What is that on TV? A local area emergency? What could that mean?
That part is gold. So, which scene do I want to show? Let's show the beginning.
What a pleasure seeing you like him.
So this is where I kind of started to change the game of casting. Like, first of all, like, for once, we have different casting.
Oh my goodness, he's here! Again, Miku, just say that you like him.
So, like, I'm gonna explain all the deity types. Anyways, I'm gonna say this from the last one. Aurora was outright insane. She threatened an entire nation. An entire state. Sorry, not the whole nation. She threatened an entire state just to try and be with someone. An entire state. That is, like, bizarre. That is insane.
Natsumi, don't spoil the surprise. I kind of allow him to know. Yeah, you can't just let him know you like him.
And then I voiced David. Because
Hello, Natsumi.
Charles said I should.
Hello, David.
Hey, Miku, how are you?
Hello there, David. What a pleasure seeing you here. It's not like I want to be kept up locked up in a basement forever and ever.
Miku, we talked about this.
It's alright, Natsumi. I've already gotten used to Miku's antics. Well, I've gotten that old MacBook that you gave me up and running. Just installed Linux on it. Fedora, to be exact. Still working on the Minecraft server. Just trying to get it to work on the Dell PowerEdge. Want to try it out?
Sure. What was that?
It sounded like a thud. Let's go check outside.
And so we basically reached the end of the progression. So you kind of see, like, where I kind of experimented with this. This one really changed the game. And y'all just say, what's the story about? I get the times mixed up with the warnings. Well, first of all, let me explain. I've done everything in my power. I've done everything in my power. Why is my Apple Watch trying to tell me stuff? So, once again, I'm going to go over here and conclude the stream real quick. So that was like the whole history of the scenarios. Like, so it kind of went from not taking the stories, like I just basically started taking things more seriously. That's just basically the whole premise. So this was actually one that I had a lot of fun written. This was co-written with Buttercup Chara. Like, I freaking chose British accents for all the Celestina characters that got reverse isekai'd. So like, Lilith has a British accent, the King has a British accent, and Prince Charles actually has a British accent. Which makes me the opportunity to make this joke. We did have a Prince Charles IRL, but we don't anymore. Did he die? No, he became King Charles. No, he became King Charles. Ah yes, Queen Elizabeth. Where's her modern day appearance, like the Queen Elizabeth? Star Sun Central, I will say that was the funniest part where she included. I will say that, like, the funniest part is, like, the only queen we have is Queen Elizabeth, and like, they were confronting with the demigods were confronting Miss Radioactive. That's so funny. So, like, I've even, like, considered radio playing the Captain character, like Captain Ventura, but I got someone else to do it. The thing was, I got someone else to do it. So, basically, guys, I made an EAS scenario, and I've really progressed a lot in my terms of storytelling. So I've, like, just done, like, a bit of a... Do any of you have any questions before I conclude the stream? Crickets, 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 crickets.